Okay, this is my second Open Gate video for April because I won this lovely kit right here. Beautiful view. So I have decided I shall put it together with you guys. So let's take a look at these fabrics before I press them. The pattern I'm going to be making is this there. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's see. Let's open this up and look at this panel. Come on, open up. There we go. So we got this panel. Has a wreath on the window, and it's a farm, pretty much farm. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. You know what this word is. I'm not even going to try to think about it anymore. We got a white and a brown and this lovely green to go with it. So I'm going to go ahead now and take a peek-see at the pattern and figure out what I'm doing. And for those that are curious about the panel, it is called Farm View by Cindy Jacobs for PB Textile, or pbtex.com. PB Textiles, technically, or P&B Boutique, it says on the other thing. Just in case you were curious about this panel. And this fabric, in case you were curious about it, is hiding from me. It's messed up at the fold. Let's see, where is it at? It's Timeless Treasures. The number for it is CD3149, just in case. It's Timeless Treasures. And then, obviously, the brown is just a brown, so I don't need to tell you, and white is white, because those don't usually have a selvage on them. So I'm going to get these pressed while I take over looking at the pattern. All right, all of my fabrics are lovely pressed. And now I'm just going to follow the instructions to put everything, to cut everything and then put it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut the panel, because that's the first thing that's on here. Just going to slide that out of the way. Go ahead and slide this out of the way. Now remember, it's not my pattern. I cannot give you the measurements. And if you like all these Open Gate videos that I do, click on the link in the description and it will take you to Open Gate videos, to their website, to their thing. That's the word I'm looking for. I have a ton of Open Gate videos and it'll take you to their website. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut this out. It's kind of wonky. I did try to stretch it, but all panels are messed up. They're never correct. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and throw this in fast forward while I cut this thing out. Okay, so now I'm going to take my squares of my brown and my green, and I'm going to put them together, right sides together, and I'm going to sew on my invisibly drawn line on both sides of it. Yep, there we go with invisibly drawn lines again. So I'm going to use my seam tape for this. I'll take you over the machine and we'll sew up a whole heck of a lot of half square triangles. I just want you to know, if you're making half square triangles and they're small and you're not getting this accurate sew on both sides, you can split it in half and then line it up. Oops. I need a better stitch length for this. And then sew one and use your seam guide, you know what I mean, your magnetic seam guide at the same time if you need more accuracy. And then you can just sew both sides and then you would have your half square triangle. But I'm just going to do the method where I just put them together and sew on both sides of my not drawn line. And again, I'll have to trim, but that's fine with me. So I'm just going to line up the corner on a line, and I'm going to line up here with the edge of this foot is 1/4 inch. So I'm going to line up the edge of the foot with this right here, and I'm literally going to sew from one side to the other. And I'm going to do every single one of these. And I'm going to go ahead and, just because this video might be long because it takes a while to put these together, I'm going to go ahead and throw it and fast forward, same as I did while I was cutting the fabric. So here we go. So now I'm just going to go ahead and chop them all in half and then press them. And I think I will press towards the brown. So let's go back into fast forward while I do this. Alright, I have all my half square triangles. Now it's time to turn these into blocks. So I need to make some, no, maybe I need to make both the same way. So I'm going to go here and there. And then I'm going to go that way and this way, making an hourglass. So I'm going to just keep repeating like this, an hourglass. So I'm going to make a bunch of hourglasses. Oops, that way. This way and that way. And then I'm going to press the top one to the right, bottom one to the left, and press them all facing down. And I'm going to make 14 of these. All right, so I'm going to go to the sewing machine again. Let's go. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring them all over here. And I'm going to just make them as I go. First thing I'm going to do, though, is line up my 1/4 inch seam with my little thingamabobber, because I am well known for sewing farther than I'm supposed to. I'm really bad with getting my seams straight. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a couple, and then obviously we will put them all together. So I'm going to not do that. Hold on. All right, sometimes I can't get the camera to stay still. It's also going to try to slide down on me probably. So I'm going to sew together all of these the same exact way. I'm just going to leave one like next to me right here so that I can see which way they're going. And then send them all through in sets of 2 and then turn the 2s into 4s. Okay, now that my blocks are made, I'm going to go ahead now and we're going to do 7 blocks like this across. We're going to make 2 rows that are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And apparently they go this way instead. So I'll turn them all this way. So we're going to do 2 rows that are like this. Obviously the top of the screen is harder for you to see. So let me slide all this way. I always forget that when I'm filming this right here, this area is not as visible. All right, there is 7 of those things. And now we are going to place these fellers right here. Oh, come on. In between. Like this. And then I'm going to do the same with the next row. Or technically these are the sides of the panel. And I'll show you how to put all this kind of stuff together. If you've never done a border like this, you can do this with a solid square. You can do this with any pieced square, anything, and set things on point like this. And make borders out of it. There's all sorts of charts online to get the size you would need for your set in triangles. I usually do like an inch more though than it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? All right, now for these guys, there should be 8 of them. So I'm going to have one here, and then one on each end over here like this, which is kind of hard to see. And then here's the other ones, what'll go here and here. And I'll add those last, obviously. They will go like that. And then we have the border pieces that are going to go on each side of it, and so on and so forth. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and start piecing these. So minus this out here. This is going to be 1 right here. This and this is going to be 1. Those are going to be 1, 1, 1, 1, and then this right here. And then I'll attach my corners. So this one only gets the 1 piece on it. This one's going to get 2, but they're in opposite directions. So it would be lined up like this and lined up like that. So you'd be sewing this way and that way. Your tail will be on one side and on the other. Same with this one. So I'm going to be sewing this edge right here and have my dog ear on this side. And then I'll sew with the flat edge of this one on here with my dog ear on that side, and I will just sew every single one of these like that until I get to the end, which is only one. But it's fairly simple to do stuff like this, so you can add this to any project if you want a fun and exciting border to add to something, you know, or if you had leftover blocks or even just leftover solid blocks, just grab an extra fabric, cut it up into squares, and then on the diagonal so that you get your quarter square triangles. Count how many you need before you cut. That way you're not wasting anything. So I'm going to go ahead now and start stitching these together. I'm just going to do them one at a time at the machine and then put it back and then do another one, put it back until it's all sewn up. Okay, so now each of these have their sides on them. What I'm going to do is just take a pair of scissors and snip off the dog ear on all of these. So there's one on each side except for two of them. And then place them back where they go. That way we get rid of the bulk. Just getting rid of the bulk. Okay, clean up my little mess. So now I'm going to put these together and make the row, and then I'll add my two ends on both sides. So if you line them up just right to where the white makes a solid line like this, you know you have it correct. So when you put these right sides together, this one right here is going to nest because they're pressed towards the white, and then this one will have that 1/4 inch sticking out on the corner. So I'm going to go ahead now and sew these to the next one, the next one, the next one until they're done. So I'm going to go ahead and press it with my finger for now up towards the top. Okay, and I'll take all this to the iron when I'm finished. So this one now will go on here, and it's going to be that same thing. You're just going to nest. Where am I at? Right here. We're going to nest this bottom right here. So it's going to stick over a 1/4 inch on that side, and it's going to stick over a 1/4 inch on this side. Okay, so I just finger pressed for now. I'll take this to the iron once all the pieces are together and all those are on. So what I'm going to do now is attach the two ends. So I'm going to center them on here and then attach. So this one, I'm just going to lay it on here and line the point up with my triangle with half that block. And then when I put this one on, I'll do the same with the opposite side, lining this side up with the point. So I'm just going to go ahead and press this away from, and then all this excess, I'm going to cut away right here, just like that. Now I'm going to put this one on here and line it up with the block itself. So I'm lining it up with the centers of the block. just like this. It should stick out a 1/4 inch here, but a lot here so that you have extra room to trim. And then I'm just going to, for now, finger press it out, just like this. And then I'm going to take these 2 pieces and put them on this side. So I'm going to do that same procedure where I lay this right here, and I am going to lay it on the edge, lining that point up with the cross in the block. For now, I'm just going to finger press it nice and tightly. I'm going to take my scissors. You can use a rotary blade and a ruler for that part. All right, again, I'm going to line this point up with the cross in the block. So there I have one made. Now I just need to press it really nicely and then I'll trim it to size. So for now I'm just going to set that over there and bring this set down and start sewing this set together. Those are my end caps. I'll just leave those separate. All right, so again, it's going to be that same exact procedure where I lay them right sides together. I'm nesting the white next to the block. Lay it back, put this one on here, the nesting the triangle parts right here. Okay, I'm just going to finger press this. Like I said, I'll take everything to the iron once it's sewn on. I'll go ahead and get rid of this dog ear on this side. I'm going to do that same procedure, lining up that triangle with the point of the cross of the block. I'm going to go ahead and just press it back, trim off this excess. Put another one on here. Again, the point is at the crossing on the block. You are sewing these, when you make stuff like this, you are sewing it sideways. So everything at the machine, this will be straight. So everything will be hanging off like this. So every time you add another row, it just hangs like that. So when I go to do this one right here and put this on, I'm going to turn this to the machine, and now everything's going to be up like that. And then when I do the other side, it'll hang down. So we're going to center this on there, take it over. Go back with it like that, trim this off, and add the other side. Like I said, I'm going to be sewing it sideways, so all this would hang off. It's best to have like a machine bed that you can just lay everything on. It helps with the projects when you're building them sideways like this. All right, so now I'm going to take both of these now and take them to the iron, and I'm really going to press these seams nicely on both of these, and then I'm going to cut them to the size it says in my pattern. So when you're making your own type style stuff like this, make sure so if this is going on a panel, we're pretty much trimming this to the size of your side of your panel. So, I mean, if you know that size, then you can make your thing to that size. Always, always, and I do this on my own stuff, and even, when I'm not following patterns, I always make this last triangle bigger than it's supposed to be by at least an inch or two, because that way when you go to trim it, you're not losing the points of anything. So as you can see all the way down here, there's more than a 1/4 inch on all these side points, and then there's way more needed than needed on the outside than the size I'm going to be trimming this to. So I'm going to go over and press this now, and then we will trim them up. Okay, so I have them pressed. Now I need to go to the size it says. They're way oversized, so I'm going to go ahead and get these cut. Okay, so I trimmed this one, and I've realized that it is bigger. My whole entire piece is bigger than the pattern says it needs to be. So that means it's bigger than these pieces. Much, much bigger. How can I fix this without losing anything? What I need to do, honestly, is change the pattern a smidgen by oh man, I hate when I have to do this. I don't know why mine came out so much bigger. I'm not going to cut off or lop off these end pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these down to a specific size, both of them, once I trim the sides. And then what I'll do is I'll build around my panel first with the green color, because I have a little bit extra of that. And then I'll insert these. So I'll see if I can make it the size it needs to be. And then there's enough white for me to cut another 1.5 inch strip, but that means these pieces are the wrong size. So I will be able to cut 1.5 inch strips for this to change that. So let's see what I have to do to fix this. I'm going to cut these first though. Okay, so I cut 2 strips off of that because I'm going to have to add to these anyway. And now I'm going to figure out how big I need to cut of what I had of my green. I think this was the end of the bolt, and that's the only reason why I have a lot, because Monique doesn't usually put a ton extra in the kits. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the panel, see how much I need to equal to these, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the number I need. So I need to cut this the size that I came up with. I'm hoping there's enough. So I need 1, 2, and I don't know if I'm gonna have enough. We're gonna cut 3. I'm probably gonna be short a little bit, you know? I probably could have did a different one, a different color. I'm gonna see how wide this arrow is, and I might be able to insert it. Let's see how wide it is. Okay, so I'm going to take these arrows out of this piece, and I'm going to insert them in between these so that I have enough for the top, the bottom, and the 2 sides. So I'm just going to slightly move that out of the way, and I am going to hope that this works, this idea. All right, now let me see if this is equal to the top and the bottom. Okay, it should be. All right, now I need to trim this one exactly the same. So for now, I'm going to leave these exactly this size, but I'm going to trim them down because I'm going to put these on the top and bottom, but I'm going to corner them. Oops, let me grab this and cut my last and final strip off of here that I need. I'm going to turn that into a string real quick while I'm right here at it. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach these to the sides. I always do sides first. Okay, so I'm going to cut 2 of them to the size it was, to the size that my pattern was from the pattern itself. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the selvage. I'm going to line it up on a line, and I'm going to cut it at the size I was at. Okay, so there's one for each side, and then the top and bottom will build that we need from those. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these to the side of the panel. So I'm just going to bring the panel down so that you can see. I'm going to go ahead and put these on the sides real quick. This is true improvising right here, my friends. I'm going to go ahead and press this and then find out the size it is on the sides. That way I can chop this off as much as I need equally so that both of these can have an equal amount on the sides to equal this. We're going to lay these on top of each other. I'm going to cut them at the same exact time on both sides, and then we're going to cut how much I need from the leftovers of this and that last strip that I grabbed. I'm going to take it to about right here, and then away from the arrow. How far did I go? Almost an inch. I'll go almost an inch on this side, right about there. And now I'm going to take and do 2 of these exactly the same with a little bit on each side. So I'm going to do the one first, trim it to size, do the other one, trim it to size, and we're going to make this work. I'm going to go ahead and find the center like this, and then find the center of this. This is probably not the best way to do things, but this is how I do things. I'm going to hold that. I'm going to center this. I'm going to line those seams up so that I know it's center. I'm going to lay that next to this. Come over here like that. Move that one out of the way because we don't want to accidentally ruin it. Okay, and then I'm going to attach these onto this one now, and then it's going to get cut to this exact size. I'm just going to lay this right here for a second and sew these on. Going to center these right here, just like that, and I'm going to cut the 2 sides. See how simple that is? So I'm just going to lay this right here, cut that one off, lay this on this other side, cut that off, and look, I didn't even need that last strip. All right, so I'm going to put the top on facing this direction, and the bottom one I'll put on facing that direction. Okay, fingers crossed that this is now the size of this. Let's see. Oops, come on, move over. And look at that. It is the size it needs to be. So I'm going to put the sides on this. Actually, I can just connect it to this, honestly. And then just put one of these on each side. No, I'll do it on both sides. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and piece a little bit to each of these. Put it on both sides like the pattern had in the first place. I'm going to move this panel out of the way. So I'm going to put one of these on each side like the pattern said in the first place. And then I'm going to add some to it. Where's my pieces? There they are. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just put this on this end. Okay, and then I will sew that on and then cut it excess off, and all this excess is going to go towards all the extra things that it needs. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on this side first. So I'm going to go ahead, cut it to size. I know, again, these aren't the proper ways to do things, but unfortunately, I have no choice. So I'm going to go ahead now and sew this end to this. And now I'm going to attach it to the opposite side. Let's lay this right here, move that out of my way, and go on this side now. And then I'm going to do the same with the other one. These are ready for the sides, so I'm going to just attach one on each side now, right sides together, and then I'll press it towards the green. So this probably isn't the most squarest quilt I've made, but we're going to keep going. So now I'm just going to take this strip right here. Right, where is it? Let's see how much more we needed to add. We have enough on this to add to both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and add one to this, and then this will just stay a whole strip for now. We'll move that out of the way because we got to figure out how to do the rest of the borders now that we don't have no more fabric. Okay, so far this is what I have. My quilt is going to turn out bigger than it was supposed to be, so that last strip that I cut, that when I went around this, I'm going to save that towards my binding, because now I need an extra binding strip, you know, because I added to this. So I'm going to put that in my binding pile, and we're only going to work with what was supposed to be the borders, and then we're going to use the rest of all this stuff here that I have, all these pieces of scrap. We're going to figure out how to work all this in. All right, so I'm going to assume the bigger one's supposed to be the, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Maybe that one was supposed to be the top and bottom, and we'll see right now. Hold on. We'll see what one was supposed to be what. Okay, so these were supposed to be this is the sides, and these are the top and bottom, because these are the same as the sides right now. And then all I would need to add is the excess for all this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attach the long ones to the side because they're bigger than they need to be. Okay, and then these ones will be the top and bottom where I'll piece some stuff into it. All right, so I'm going to sew these on. Okay, so I'm going to get an estimate of how much more I need to add. So I'm going to lay this on here. I'm going to put this on one end right here, and I'm going to see how much I need plus my 1/4 inch seam. So I need about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches. Okay, so we need to add 10 inches plus half, plus all the seams. So we need to add more than 10 inches to both of these. So let's figure this out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have fun with this by folding these in half. And I'm going to line them up on a line. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to fold them in half and cut them in half. Try to get, there we go, both of those folds. Now we're going to add to it with, I doubt this is the size, so we're going to have to do it in segments. That one's not the size. This one and this one are scraps that are the size. Oh, if this was 10 inches, I'm going to be so mad. Oh, it's 11. All right, what I'm going to do, see, I knew I should have just looked through my scraps better. I am going to insert, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this lovely scrap right here. Turn it around. Ooh, that's a perfect size right there. And I am going to cut a piece off of here. I don't know if I want that line in it, but you know what? It might work to my advantage. How big was this again? Okay, let's cut this. 1 and 2 for this one, like this. I'll go that way. And then 2 more. 1 and 2. See how I make things up like this? That. And then let me cut the selvage off of this. And we're going to insert this into the middle of it. We're going to make sure both of these are the same exact size. And they are now. So this will go in the middle. So I'm going to put one of these on each side. Okay, so now those are pressed. Let's grab the quilt. I'm going to go ahead and find the center. Once I have found the center of that, I will grab this piece and find its center, just like this. I'm going to put a crease on those, and then I'm going to open it up, put those 2 creases together, and I'm going to put a pin in it. And I'm just going to walk it to this side, throw another pin right there, and throw another pin right here, and maybe one down here. I really don't need that many more down there because honestly, it's the end of it. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to go ahead, fold it in half, find my center, make a crease, open it up, find the center of this, There, make a crease. Place the creases together. Plop a pin in it. And like I said, this is probably not going to be a very square quilt because it's a little wonky. But that's okay. It'll be done, and that's all that matters. And I'm quilting it myself, so it's not going to any long arm or anything. So nobody will know besides you. All right, so now I'm going to sew these on, and then we'll take a look at the finished quilt top. So the quilt was supposed to be 37 inches square. Also, you can tell that my centering is not very well because this one's way off and that one's equal on the top and bottom. I don't know. Maybe it is way off. I don't know. Either way, it's done. Everything's put together. I probably didn't need to add those two pieces because that one piece was long enough. Mine came out 41 by 42. Okay. And I measured, I thought this was going to be super wonky, but I measured in 3 spots. So it's 41 in 3 spots and it's 42 this way, this way, this way. Like, I really thought it was going to be super off, but it's actually not. It kind of looks it. Sorry that the camera's starting to sag. It's broken, the stand. Anyway, so I'm going to find some backing for this and quilt it up. And then I have my binding, which is this, already ready. I just got to put it together and press it. And everything else should go together nicely. I'm not going to do anything fancy on the quilting. I'm probably just going to do it all over. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. And there we have it. It's all nice and quilted. Let's go take a closer look. I just quilted it with a simple meander. It's kind of my go-to thing when panels are involved. It's quilted in the color Celery Thread. And the word finally came to me. Barn. I know, I have issues with words. Let's take a look at the back. And here is the back. I went with the desert. Why? Because I had that fabric. But it's not just one piece. I actually had to piece it together because it was just long scrap pieces. But I made it work. Let's go take a look. So I didn't have totally enough to do the sides. So the sides are that. But where's the seam? There's a seam here somewhere. All right, here's a seam right here. Can you see it? You can see it about right there. So I matched everything up, and then there's another seam right here because, like I said, it was just long, skinny strips. And I made it work. So I had 3 skinny strips, and I had to get them right, but I had enough for up and down, just not enough from side to side, but there it is. You can see the meander. I used celery colored glide thread, which blended perfectly with the front and the back. So there we have it. So it came out 40 by 41. It was 41 by 42, but obviously with quilting, it takes up some of that and then the trimming and so on and so forth. So there it is. It's so beautiful. Anyways, I didn't put hanging tags or hanging hooks on it because this is the size of a baby quilt for like a newborn baby.
and or a wall hanging. It's a little bit of both. So I just left those off, and that's that. So I hope you enjoyed watching my craziness with this because I did have some issues. My side pieces ended up too big, but I made it work in the end, and I'm okay with it, even though it's not like fully 100% center, but I don't care. It works and it looks fabulous. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everybody.